Why's everybody laughing?
This is when I really began to let the burning just take over, and I stopped trying to control the burn so much. But also what I wanted to do was, this piece is called Home Voyage Home. And the more I worked it, the more it started taking on a life of its own. And I stopped seeing it as being something on the wall. After talking with Michi, he was like, why do all the pieces have to be on the wall? Why can't they be in different places? So when I saw this one lay on the floor, and I saw it from this angle over here, and as I began to look from this angle, I began to see that it was more than just a painting. But this is actually the painting right here that changed my life. As far as painting, as far as the way that I looked at what I was doing, and the seriousness of what it was. Because at this point is when I realized that, and this piece is called Home Voyage Home. Because of the middle passage, this is the piece right here that told me where I was talking about, what I was working on, what spirits were talking to me, who needed to be represented, who needed to be discussed. Because home, as far as Africa is concerned, as far as where we come from initially, and then home now is where I live and where I am, and voyage being that thing in the middle. Cool. All right. These here is related to when they built these items of power, they put mirrors in the eyes, so therefore it reflected you. So I wanted to get that reflection on there. Also, those bottles were something that they used, man, the way they used to trade sometimes with the Africans was with alcohol. And it's very interesting how alcohol has really plagued us in our community and used to dumb us down in a lot of ways. I'm acting like I'm hanging this, okay? So I want to do a series that was a little bit smaller, that had smaller pieces. So I created this series here, but I wanted to change it slightly by making this monochromatic and then adding the color onto another piece. So therefore the pieces themselves were not reliant on the color to make them strong, but more on the actual material and the stain. And then as you look at it from a distance, you'll see that they begin to meld into each other. That the color from one, it begins to leap onto the other. Here, do you want to take a picture of it like this so you can? To some degree, I think these small ones have almost like a bigger impact than the larger ones. I think that because you do so much with a larger one.
Oops. More clothing now, sorry. What?
I think this one has a little bit more purity to it, a little bit more, I don't know, anymore now, I love the texture of the nails on your hands. I think that you should be able to touch it. I think it's almost sensory, visually and physically. Yeah. It evokes that power, and I think that power is just. When I was finished with the series, I went upstairs I knew I had finished my last piece. And I could feel the ancestors. I could feel all of them begin to come to me, and as though they were swarming around me. And this sounds kind of psychotic because I'm not one that really believes in a lot of that. But I had this overwhelming spiritual feeling after finishing the series. And I felt like it was saying, you're welcome. Like they were there, they assisted me, they completed it, they were heard, they're being heard, they're not finished. And they wanted to say, you're welcome, as I was saying, thank you for allowing me to complete these pieces. Eric, thank you so much. This one is called Remember the Drum. The cell phone has become our drum. We no longer communicate through drum anymore. We no longer have that listening out, focusing in on someone else's voice and listening to what they really have to say. That drum was a warning signal. It was a signal that that also told us that, hey, come over here, meet me over here. Now we use a cell phone. And it completely occupies our lives.